Well, hello and welcome to our final module, module number 8. We've reached the end of the program here, which is actually just the beginning, but I would like to celebrate with you graduation day. That's right, we're going to celebrate the fact that you have made it through this 8-module program. Hopefully you've gained something from it. Hopefully it's been a different approach for you. I've got more to review with you in this module, and also one more set of guidelines for you, our maintenance guidelines, some things that we haven't talked about yet. So I'm excited that we're here. It's been a long journey. It's been different, I hope, than any journey that you've been on before, because, again, having done this for almost 17 years now, I know that something that's very common when we go into starting a new fitness regimen, that we're going to go in there and we're going to change everything at the same time, and we go in with guns a-blazing in January, and the first week is good, the second week is okay, and the third week we kind of start to fade, and by the time February gets there, hey man, life is busy. I don't have time to be going to the gym every single day and getting on a treadmill for 2 hours, right? So this was meant to be different. If it felt different, if it was at a different pace than you're used to, then I'm glad. If the information that I shared with you was different than you expected, then I'm happy about that. If you thought that I was going to give you all these strict guidelines and things that you had to, specific types of foods that you had to eat and follow for the rest of your life, and this surprised you, then that is a good thing. Because the reason why we're here and trying this program, not trying this program, but really kind of building this program, integrating this program into our life, making it a lifestyle, is because we're looking for something different. And I hope that this is what that was for you, something different. I hope that the gradual process has allowed you to slowly but surely and gradually change certain aspects of your life, these different areas that we've talked about, and that it's made it a more comfortable change, something that's more sustainable for you. And let me say this, if you haven't, and you're going to review all these videos in a row, and so that's okay too. I want you to understand that, that you have the ability to go back and watch these again, and if you fell off in week 4, or you fell off in week 5, or whatever it might be, and something clicked inside you and said, I got to get back to this, then great, you're here. And I want you to understand, it's very important for you to understand, there is no I'm on a program or I'm off a program. One of the very first things we talked about was 5 mindsets that you must, really realize at the very beginning of this thing, and that there's no on or off the wagon, okay? There's okay, I had a bad day, or I had a bad week, or I had a bad month, or whatever it might be, but I'm going to pick right back up where I left off. Don't turn a molehill into a mountain and make it something that's so big and so complicated and so, so many moving parts and so many moving pieces that you have to change at one time that you don't take action. You can start with 5 minutes a day, right? So let's do this. Let's go back to the beginning. Why did we focus on gradual change? Well, I just kind of talked about it a little bit, but the answer is sustainability. The key word to any fitness lifestyle is sustainability. Too much too fast is not sustainable. If we try to change everything at the same time, we can't maintain it. So slow, gradual change equals lasting change. That's why this program is drawn out over the time that it is. What does it mean to be aligned? The whole time we've been talking about aligned fitness living, and if you need a reminder, there's 2 things that we're talking about when we talk about being aligned. The first answer, to take all areas of your life into consideration when you're trying to live a fitness lifestyle, including, we've talked about mindset, emotions, your meal planning or your eating, your movement, your muscular training, your energy, and the environment that you surround yourself with. And of course, today we're talking about how to maintain those things. So, to speak to that first point, that first answer, so many times when we think about a fitness lifestyle, we only focus on diet. But we don't take our mission and our purpose and our beliefs into consideration. So sometimes those beliefs are not aligned with what we want to do with our diet, and they combat each other. So taking all of these areas into consideration and understanding that there's a relationship between them, that they all must be in alignment with each other to move you towards your purpose, to move you towards that change that you want in your life. The second answer is that it's not about being perfect. You've probably heard me say that a zillion times at this point in time. It's not about being perfect. It's about aligning yourself with certain guidelines. That's all these are in all of these areas to plan around your imperfections. It's not about being perfect. It's about planning around your imperfections. How do we plan around your imperfections? We have a set of rules that we follow. It's that easy. Okay, a set of rules. So, keep calm. And let's review. Why keep calm? Because I'm about to go cray-cray in here, all right? I'm about to start whizzing through this stuff very quickly because we covered a lot over these 8 modules, and I'm going to cover it very quickly because this isn't where you've learned it. You've already learned it. We're going to review it right now. Here we go. Module 1 was an aligned mind, all right? And before I get cray-cray, before I start going super fast here, I want you to understand that if you take away anything from this entire program, let it be Module 1. Let the very first thing we talked about with your purpose, your mission, and your vision, and spending 5 minutes a day, as early as you can in the day, please, if there's anything that you take away, let it be that. Because I know that if you get clear on a daily basis at the beginning of your day what you want out of your life, what you want your life to look like in the future, what you believe about yourself that will empower you to do the things that you want to do to get to the places you want to get, I know that everything else will be impacted by that. But if that goes to the wayside and you just go, well, tell me the workout and tell me what cardio to do and tell me what to eat, but you're not clear on that, nothing else matters. Okay? So here we go. An aligned mind means that your belief system, your attitude, your internal and external dialogue, and your actions are aligned with your purpose. We talked about limiting beliefs a lot, and we talked about how there's 5 ways or 5 steps to take to eliminate those beliefs or to change those limiting beliefs into something that's empowered. Number 1, you got to identify what they are. Write them out, as many as come to mind. And again, this isn't where we're learning this. This is just a review. So you write down your limiting beliefs, the things that you believe about yourself that are keeping you from your goals. And then you're going to rewrite that belief with something that will empower you and build you up. Then you have to figure out, well, what's the emotional payoff of the old belief and of the new belief? And then reframe the evidence and then find new evidence to support your new belief. This is all from Module 1. We talked about what's your mission, what's your purpose in life, what do you want to focus on, what do you want to accomplish, what do you want to become, what is most important to you, why, and until you get to your final answer, well, I want to lose weight. Well, why do you want to lose weight? Well, because it'll make me feel good about myself. And why do you want to feel good about yourself? Because I want to, improve, my relationships or whatever it might be. Until you get to a point where you can't ask the question why anymore, that is your purpose. We talked about creating a personal vision. We talked about creating a written vision and creating a mental vision. When you write your vision statement, we were talking about no limits. Don't limit yourself to what you believe your future can look like. You speak it in the first person. Use the present tense. I am, not I want or I will be, but I am right now. You create something in your mind that tells you right now, this is where I am, and your mind will start to move there. Describe the ideal version of you as although it's already happened. The 5-minute mindset. Again, if there's anything that you take away the 5-minute mindset. Start your day spending just 5 minutes on your mindset in the morning. You can do anything for 5 minutes. Read through your new beliefs. So real quickly, because I don't believe it's in this review, but we talked about taking your beliefs and taking your mission that you write out and taking your vision and putting them somewhere where you can see them every single day, putting them on your mirror, putting them on your desk, somewhere that you can see them every single day. And you're going to take 5 minutes, because you can do anything for 5 minutes, and you're going to read through your beliefs with conviction, read through your mission and your vision with emotion, and spend 2 to 3 minutes visualizing the future that you want as vividly as possible. 5 minutes. Key points to remember. 5 minutes does do something, and that's for every 5-minute rule that we talk about in this presentation. Don't dismiss the short amount of time. It does do something. Say it. It does do something. And at the end of 5 minutes, you simply ask yourself, can I do another 5 minutes? If the answer is no, then you're done. You did something. If the answer is yes, then you spend another 5 minutes. And you keep this process going until, you're done. And until you get to a point where you can no longer do it. So let's say you're going through your 5-minute mindset at the beginning of the day, and maybe it's a casual Saturday, maybe it's a Sunday morning, maybe it's time where you have a little bit more time on your hands, and you say, can I do this for another 5 minutes? The more you do it, your mindset is just like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it's going to get. So that's why we do. That's why we build upon it if we can. In Module 2, we talked about aligned eating. There was so much information to cover. We're not going to cover it here. We're going to talk about what we talked about. 5-minute mindset, which was just spending 5 minutes while we eat, of mindful eating, focusing on what we're eating, focusing on what our goals are, focusing on what we're putting into our body, focusing on if that food is moving us closer towards our goals or farther away. And then we would set our fork down after 5 minutes, spend 5 minutes on conversation, 5 minutes on sipping water, 5 minutes on something else. And then if at the end of that 5 minutes, which now is at 10 minutes, if you're still hungry, spend another 5 minutes with your mindful eating, okay? We talked about how to control your cravings with questions on a scale of, and I know I covered it somewhere else in this review, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want something? If it's a 1 through 8, it can wait, right? Put a grade on it. 1 through 8, it can wait. If you're at a 9 or 10, let it begin. You start asking yourself questions. Do I want that ice cream? Or do I want what that ice cream, what I think it will bring me? What do I think it will bring me? Well, I think it's going to bring me so much joy, and it's going to make my day melt away. And okay, that's what I think it will bring me. What will it actually bring me? Well, I know that I'm going to feel guilty after I eat it, and I know it's going to have a bunch of extra calories and sugar, and I don't really want that. So maybe I don't want what it will actually bring me. So I think maybe that at this point I've talked myself out of it. If at that point you go, no, I really want it, then you have it, because that's what a lifestyle is about. Is if you really want something and you've weighed out the options, you've considered it, and you've been mindful about it, and you still make the decision, then that's okay. We talked about how to measure and recalibrate monthly. We're going to talk about that when we get to the maintenance guidelines. Your three must-have tools: your scale, your measuring cups, and your measuring spoons. We talked about eating 5 to 6 times a day to keep your metabolism sped up, and having set meal times that fit your life. All right. We also talked about calculating your personal calories, your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats. You might remember we said you're unique. You're not a cookie cutter. You're a snowflake. Everybody's unique. Everybody has a certain set of numbers that's based on your age and your gender and your weight and your activity level. And I gave you the formulas of how to do that. So go back to that if you need to. Make sure you've got that printed out so that when you need to recalibrate, you know what your numbers are. So that's what we talked about in Module number 2. Module number 3, we talked about aligned emotions. And we talked about a very unique relationship that of where our emotions come from. I'm going to circle emotions right here. Emotions, we don't exactly know what creates them, but we do know this. There's a relationship between your thoughts, your physical sensations, and your behavior. And if you see here where we've got it typed in red, reminder that your thoughts are in your mind, right? Of course, and the other two come from your body. So that tells us that if we can control our mind and what our thought process is, we can control our emotions. And we can also use our body, our behaviors, and the way that our body feels to create emotions as well. So you might remember my golden rule of how to use your body to create the emotions that you want. And that is to fake it until you feel it. We talked about it's not really faking. If you think about it, if you want to feel energetic, then you act energetically. If you want to feel motivated, act motivated. If you want to feel confident, act confident. In a very short time, the act, or the faking as I call it, it triggers certain physiological changes in your body, which helps create the emotions associated with them. Remember, I showed you behaviors. Okay, the behavior can control your emotion. So if you behave in a certain way, even if you're emulating it, even if you're faking it, you're going to trigger certain things in your bodies, your muscle tension, your respiration, your heart rate, that will help create an emotional state that you want. Pretty cool. We talked about the opposite. So that's us using our physiological state in our behavior, our physical part, to create emotion. We talked about mindset as well, and how that mindset, using emotion to create motion, or using your mindset to create motion. let's read through the bullet points here. If we're taking the physiological part out, okay, using our body or using our behavior, and we don't know exactly what creates emotions, that just leaves one part of that formula, one part of that little relationship, and that's our thoughts to help us create the emotions that we want to get us moving. In other words, what you choose to focus on will help you create the emotional state that you want. All right? So back to, I told you it was in here. Let's see. We are on emotion. So the reason why it's in this part right here was because one of the things we think of when we think about emotions is emotional eating. One of the things that we can do using our mindset when it comes to emotional eating is to go through the question it to control your cravings with questions. And I already went through it, but we'll go through it again really quickly. How bad do I want it? 1 through 8, it can wait. Okay? So we're saying, oh, emotionally, I so want that Godiva chocolate, or emotionally, I so want to stop and eat that chicken fried steak, or whatever it might be. It's going to relieve my stress. It's going to make me feel better. It's going to make me hide from the rest of the world, whatever it might be. And then we have to use our mindset to break that emotional chain. How bad do I want it? Do I really want it? Or do I want what I think it will bring me? Will it really bring me that? Will it bring me something else? And do I want that? And sometimes emotional eating is caused by stress and may require a bit more work to change it, but controlling it with questions is a great way to get started. Module 4. I told you we were going to move fast because we got stuff to cover at the end of our review. But Module 4, movement, cardio. This one's going to be very quickly. We talked about high-intensity interval training, HIIT training. Okay? And what it is bouts of maximum intensity with recovery periods, also known as high training. High intensity, low intensity. High intensity, low intensity, also known as peaks and valleys. Okay? What's some of the benefits of HIIT training is that it can usually be done for a shorter amount of time, can pretty much be done anywhere. It keeps you engaged because you don't get bored. Okay, you're constantly changing. Okay, I call it the ADD workout. I forgot that was in there. It increases your VO2 max, which improves your cardiovascular system. And here's the beauty of it. It boosts your metabolism by up to 10% for over 24 to 48 hours. So that's one of the reasons why we're talking about it, is because it increases your metabolic burn. Also known as EPOC. You might remember this, excessive post-exercise oxygen consumption. Your afterburn, a raised metabolism. Your body is repairing itself, so oxygen is used in hormone balancing, replenishment of fuel stores, cellular repair, innervation, and anabolism. The higher the intensity, the higher the EPOC. Basically, in a nutshell, your body, when you do the high-low training, you're burning calories while you're doing it, but you're also creating an afterburn effect that is 10% higher than it would normally be if you just did one steady pace the entire time. All right? Again, we're just reviewing right now, so we're going fast. I gave you my method, which was a 3-minute warm-up jog. Then you do 30-second burst training. It might be sprints. It might be jump squats if you're doing stationary training. But it's all in that module. And then you do a 90-second recovery pace. Recovery pace can start with a walk, but must have you at a jog pace by the end of it. Okay? The total time is 5 minutes. Okay? So you'll go 30 seconds. You do a 3-minute warm-up. Then you do a 30-second burst, 90-second recovery. Total time is 5 minutes. Using the 5-minute rule, you simply say, all right, I just did 5 minutes. Can I do another 5 minutes? So if you can, you do another 5 minutes, just like Melissa. If yes, just do the 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off for 5 more minutes. You don't need to do the warm-up anymore because you've already done it. So your cardio routine now becomes 30 seconds of burst as fast and as high intensity as you can possibly do it with 90 seconds recovery. 30-second burst, 90 seconds recovery. 30-second burst, 90-second recovery until you hit 5 minutes. And again, you keep using the 5-minute rule until you say, all right, I'm done. And if you remember, I told you don't go past 25 minutes. That's all you need. I'm not telling you to do marathon training. I'm not telling you to do hours upon hours of cardio. I'm telling you, burst training, 25 minutes or less. Okay? And if you do just 5 minutes, you did something. If you do just 5 minutes that day, you did something. Module 5, we talked about energy. We talked about packing and planning your food and water each and every day, because two contributing factors towards your energy is what you're putting into your body and the amount of water that you're taking in on a daily basis as well. We talked about using the 5-minute rule for exercise. We talked about using the 5-minute rule for stress reduction. We told you to give yourself a 2-hour window before bed. Because one of the things that happens when we eat too late at night, it's not that we're eating late and putting calories in our body and that's what makes us fat. No, it's that our body is trying to digest food and alcohol as well throughout the night, which keeps us from getting a very sound sleep. So if you can give yourself a 2-hour window before you go to bed, you're going to get a more restful night's sleep and wake up with more energy. All right? Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep is important. 5-minute rule for energy is to step outside, because we talked about the sunlight and being around nature and how that enhances your mood and reduces your stress. And then we talked about creating what you don't have, using your body, using your emotions, and allowing use your emotions will follow your physiology and your behavior. So going back to what we talked about, because again, I'm covering a lot fast. Going back to what we talked about. If you want energy, act energetic. Act energetic. I'm acting energetic right now, and guess what? I feel energetic. It'd be very hard to do all of this if I was way down here, right? And you guys wouldn't want to hear it anyway, right? Hey, I'm going to review with you our 8 modules. Because energy is contagious, isn't it? And so if I want to be energetic, I act energetic, and pretty soon I'm feeling it really fast because my body responds. So, Module 6, we talked about muscles. Why do we want them? Increased muscle tone. It looks and it feels nice. Improved muscular function and mobility. We talked about increased muscular strength, increased our joints, our connective tissue, how it improves our mood and our energy because we release endorphins, improves our bone density, and the big one, having toned muscle tissue helps increase our metabolic burn, helps us increase the amount of calories we're burning on a daily basis. You might remember this. I call it the 3-level burn effect. We're burning calories while you work out when you're doing muscular training. Okay, you're burning calories while you're doing it because your muscles will continue to burn calories during your repair over the next 24 to 48 hours. So you got that layer of calorie burning as well. And then because you're building more lean muscle tissue, remember, each pound of lean muscle tissue is going to increase your metabolic burn on a daily basis. So even if you add 3 to 5 pounds of nice, lean, toned muscle tissue, you're going to increase the amount of calories that you are burning just being alive on a daily basis by, maybe 3 to 4 to 500 calories a day. How cool is that? Just being alive, you can burn more calories because you have some lean muscle tissue. So that's why we call it the 3-level burn effect. We talked about different types of weight training programs. And again, I broke them down individually in that module. So hopefully you've downloaded your notes and you have that stuff. It's yours. Use it. But we talked about, power and explosiveness and when that might make sense. Muscular strength and hypertrophy, muscular growth, muscle tone, muscular endurance and explosiveness for afterburn, and muscular stabilization. We talked about the factors that you need to think about when you're designing your workout program that meets your specific needs is the amount of repetitions you should do, the amount of sets you should do, the lifting speed you should use, the amount of resistance you should use, and the volume of exercise. How much all in all should you do for your workout? So again, go back to the module and review that stuff. Our last module was environment. We talked about your home, your workplace, your crew, special events, and the supermarket. There were some home guidelines I gave you. Don't keep your pitfalls in your home. Go out for a single serving of them when you are at a 10 on your scale of 1 to 10. Stock less in your pantry, because those are the starchy stuff that don't have a lot of nutritional value, and more in the fridge. Buy single serving packages or make your own. Get those Ziploc bags, right? Eat at the kitchen table and don't nibble while preparing or finish up on scraps. Every calorie counts. Every calorie counts. Every calorie counts. Hopefully that stays with you. Try to keep the alcohol out of the house, but enjoy it out as well, okay? And keep your purpose, your goals, your mission, and your vision where you can see them. We already talked about that, but it's a good reminder as we're talking about environment, the things that you are around at your home. Work environment, take your lunch. If catered in, you can still take your lunch, but also you can make choices ahead of time. You can skip the cookie and the potato chips, and you can make wise decisions. Don't keep pitfalls in your desk drawers, or candy dish on top of your desk. Have set times that you plan to eat and stick to it. If you're eating out, refer to the later section that was in that module, which we'll talk about. Don't work through your meals. I know, we're on a deadline. We have so much work to do, but you will work better with food in your body, I promise. Plus, if you don't eat, you're going to slow your metabolism down, and you may overeat at your next meal. And then work is a little bit different environment, so you might not want to have all your goals and beliefs and mission and vision posted everywhere, but give yourself a reminder. Keep a reminder at your desk, something that you can look at and go, this is why I do what I do. This is why I'm making the decisions that I'm making. Your crew. We talked about speaking up. Have a planned response. Have a planned response. The people that love you the most, unfortunately, sometimes will try to sabotage you. So have a planned response. Don't respond in the heat of the moment because you haven't thought it out, because it will not come out the way that you want it to. Have a planned response. Think about the people in your life that might give you some type of, grief about trying to eat right or exercise, or unfortunately people do that. It's not because they don't love us, it's just because sometimes people do that. They try to pull us down. So have a planned response. This was a very important rule. Don't eat to make other people feel comfortable. Remember, I gave you a whole list of things. They're not the ones that have to deal with high blood pressure. They're not the ones that have to deal with a shortened lifespan. They're not the ones that have to carry extra weight around, that have to feel lack of energy, that have to feel bad about themselves, that have to look in the mirror and not feel confident. They're not the ones that have to bear that burden. It is you. It is your life. Do not eat to make other people feel comfortable. And be vocal about your goals and desire for support when it makes sense. And then if need be, you cut certain people out and you let them know why. And a lot of times that will change things. But be vocal. Stand up for yourself. This is your life. Have your planned responses. Okay? Special events. Don't go hungry. Eat something in advance that makes sense. Skip the apps and the snacks. Sip your water and focus on conversation. You have a planned response. Somebody says, come on, eat. I put out all this spread. You say, oh, thanks. I had a late lunch, but I will definitely help myself when I'm ready. Change the focus. Everything looks fantastic. You must have really worked hard on this. Change the focus. Get it off of you. Put it on them. Okay? Stick to the veggies and the lean meats and try to do a little simple math in your head. For the drinks, put off your first drink as long as you can. Remember, I taught you a little saying. I will enjoy it when I'm ready, just not yet. You simply tell yourself, I'm going to have it. So you're not doing the takeaway. When we do the takeaway, then all of a sudden it's like, I'm miserable and I want it. Not doing the takeaway. You're saying, you know what? I'm going to have it. I'm just going to put it off until I absolutely want it. Until I'm at a 10, I guess, right? So you put it off and you put it off and you put it off. And then finally when you want it, you have it. And then make sure that at special events and when you're out to eat and when you're at the barbecue, you don't make the focus of you being there about the food. You make it about the camaraderie and spending time with loved ones and the beautiful day or whatever it might be. And then, food's just a small part of it. But don't make the focus the food. Supermarket. Don't go hungry. Sound familiar? Eat something before you go. Have a list and try not to impulse buy. Stay to the perimeter where you'll find mostly fresh foods that meet your goals. Avoid the sampling because remember, I can't remember how does it go. Oh, every calorie counts, even if it's on a toothpick. So you simply practice your, no thank you. It's not very hard to do. Try it. No thank you. Buy individually packaged if possible. Make sure Ziploc bags are on your list so you can pre-package your stuff. And if you are buying something with a label on it, read it. Know what you're putting into your body. Okay? Know the serving size, the calories, the protein, the fats, and the carbs. And you might go, I didn't realize that. That's got that many grams of fat or that much fat, or the serving size is actually that instead of the whole box, or whatever you thought it was. Educate yourself. Become more and more educated. I taught you very early in this program how many calories a banana had in it, and I bet you can tell me right now it has about 100 calories, right? 100 calories, because once you learn something, it sticks with you. And if you didn't remember, that's okay, but get in the habit of looking at the labels. I want you to remember this. This was a very important slide because we talk about self-sabotage and we go, man, I'm a victim of self-sabotage. Things start to go wrong. I start to get stressed out. Being self-sabotaged is a choice. Being self-sabotaged or sabotaged by others is a choice. Because everything we've talked about in this program sets you up to give you a suit of armor, a set of guidelines to say, nope, I got to follow that guideline right there. And if you choose to ignore it, if you choose to walk by the mirror every day and not pay attention to your mission, your vision, and your beliefs, if you choose not to try to take just 5 minutes to focus on the food that you're putting on your body, if you choose not to take 5 minutes to try to do a little bit of movement, a little bit of muscular training, a little bit of stress relief, if you choose not to do those things, then you're choosing to leave yourself vulnerable to self-sabotage or sabotage by others. But if you choose to do those things, then you're putting on your suit of armor and you're making yourself stronger, and most likely self-sabotage is not going to happen. But you got to understand it's a choice. You got to understand it's a choice. Remember, both are true. Failing to plan is planning to fail, but successful planning is planning to succeed. So plan. Don't be perfect. Plan. Plan around your imperfections. How do you do that? Guidelines. Guidelines. Where can you get some guidelines? Guidelines. Oh, this program. That's right. So that's a fitness lifestyle. It's just following some rules. You can call a bunch of different... It's like a game of football. Okay? Every game of football you watch is different, right? But there's a set of rules that the game has to happen within. Okay? But every game is different. So every day doesn't have to be the same. You get to just follow some rules. And as long as you're following those rules, you get to call the plays. Okay? Didn't know there was going to be a sports analogy in here, but hey, it just kind of makes sense. So let me ask you this. How do you maintain all this? How do you maintain this program? Well, here's the secret. Everything we've built in this program is 100% doable, and it fits your lifestyle right now. Because hopefully you just, every time we've rolled out a module, you said, okay, I'll stack that on top of what I'm already doing. Okay, I'll stack that little thing on top. These are just little things that we're stacking on top of things we're already doing. We're integrating them into your lifestyle. But I have one more set of guidelines for you if you're ready. Are you ready? Good, because here goes. Rule number 1 for maintenance, 5-minute mindset every morning. If I don't go any farther, remember that's the one thing I want you to do. And if you still have not written out your core beliefs about your empowering beliefs that are going to move you closer to your goals, and you don't know what your mission is and you don't know what your vision is, don't go any farther. Don't do anything else. Get those written out. And tell yourself, that's not going to take very long at all. Because if right now you're telling yourself, I don't have time for that, that's a limiting belief. Squish it. Get it out of there. Tell yourself instead, I have time for that, and not only do I have time for that, but if I do that, it's going to change my life. So rule number 1, 5-minute mindset every morning. Rule number 2, 5-minute movement every day. Because you can do 5 minutes, right? I can go outside for 5 minutes and walk my neighborhood and do a little interval training, right? 5 minutes. 5-minute muscles every day. I gave you something that you can do in your living room. 5-minute mindful eating every day. Just while you're eating, and then after 5 minutes, set your fork down and give yourself 5 minutes to enjoy conversation, to sip on water, to look around, okay? Monthly, recalibrate for 1 day. What am I talking about? I'm talking about break out your measuring cups, your measuring spoons, and your scale, and just for 1 day, measure your stuff and go, I'm a little off here, or I'm right on the money. But recalibrate 1 day out of the month. 1 day out of 30 days. Just break out your stuff. It'll take an extra 30 seconds to a minute for each meal, okay? It's a rule. Just follow it. Quarterly, I want you to rewrite your beliefs, your mission, and your vision. So I'm not telling you guys to do this every single week. Oh, what's my beliefs this week? No, these things will change, but they're not. They shouldn't change daily or weekly or month. But every quarter, every few months, take a look at them and go, has anything changed here? Or do I have any new beliefs that empower me that I need to include on this list? Has my mission changed at all? Has my vision changed at all? And just rewrite it. Take 5 minutes to rewrite it, and then put that where you can see it. All right? It's a rule. Follow it. Semi-annually, read this PowerPoint presentation. Go back through it and go, am I doing these things? It's that simple. It's a checklist. If somebody's repairing your car, they go through a checklist, and they're going to check your tires, they're going to check your oil, and they're going to check your coolant, and they're going to check all these different things in your engine, and they're going to go down a checklist to make sure that your car is running all right. Aren't you more important than your car? I think you are. I think you are. You've got something special to add to this world, and we got to make sure that you are fine-tuned. How do you do that? Go through your checklist. And then number 8, at any point, we're coming down to the end of the presentation here, folks. At any point, not every day, could be within the day, but at any point, keep the thermostat on. Keep the thermostat on. Here's the thermostat rule. The thermostat rule simply says, set some guidelines for your weight, your BMI, your body fat percentage, your cholesterol level, your blood sugar, the way your clothes fit, the way you look in the mirror, whatever it is, set some guidelines for you that says when it gets to this temperature, the air conditioning is going to kick on. Things are getting a little too hot in here. When my pants start to fit here, and I no longer fit into then all of a sudden the thermostat clicks on. If I see my weight get to here, all of a sudden the thermostat kicks on. If all of a sudden my body fat percentage gets to here, the thermostat kicks on. Thermostat rule. Okay? You're following everything, you're doing everything in the aligned fitness living, but all of a sudden, boom, the thermostat clicks on because you've set some numbers. So set an exact number that clicks on the thermostat if you hit it for whatever it is for you. It might not be your cholesterol level. It might not be your body fat. It might be that belt buckle. Oh, I had to go up one hole on my belt buckle. Ding! Thermostat clicks on. Ooh, I checked my weight and I'm 3 pounds heavier than I was. Ding! Thermostat clicks off. But you have to have a set number. Write those numbers out. And then the only thing you need to adjust if you're doing all the other 5-minute rules, all the rest of this program. Okay, that's an important if. If you go, well, I'm not really doing 5-minute movement every day, and I'm not really doing 5-minute muscular training, and haven't looked at my goals in a while, then everything needs to be, you need to start incorporating those things back in your life. But if you go, man, everything else, I'm focused, then guess what? Every once in a while we get a little off, and that's okay. Only thing you need to adjust is calories. Okay? Calories in and calories out. Because we talked about this when we talked about calories. Weight maintained. You have energy and energy out. They equal each other, so you're not storing any energy as body fat. Weight loss happens when your energy out exceeds the energy coming in. And weight gain happens when the energy going out is less than the amount of energy coming in. So if those things start to happen, then you need to focus on your food, is what I'm telling you. Focus on your eating and recalibrate. Recalibrate for more than a day. But go back in and calculate your calories and your proteins and your fats and your carbs. But focus on that as long as everything else is being done. We've reached the end of the program here. It's really the beginning of the program. Because what I hope we've done is over these 8 modules given you a series of lists and guidelines that you can follow and focus on and pay attention to that will just give you a set of rules just so that you can call the plays along the way. You know, the ultimate goal down the road is your purpose. What's important to you? Who do you want to be? Why do you want to be it? What do you want in your life? What do you want what do you want your relationships to look like? All of that you've come up with is your purpose, your mission in life. And how do you get there? You get there by making sure that these areas are in alignment and that you personally are aligned with a certain set of guidelines to get you there. You've got what you need. You've got what you need. I've seen these guidelines work for numerous people. This is not something that you do for 30 days and then go, now what? This is something that's doable, yes? This is something that you can live by, yes? This is something that will keep you aligned in a fitness lifestyle, yes? And it's bulletproof. If things start to go wrong in any one of these areas, you can come back to that guidelines and you can say, how do I recalibrate? How do I get back in alignment with it? So you are prepared. You are ready to go. And it's in your hands now. I hope that you have learned something from this program that you can take with you. Remember, everything starts in the mind. So if anything, start with that aligned mind. Everything else should follow. In the meantime, I'll be rooting you on.